There's something that you mentioned, bro, and I wanna lean in on before we move to the next thing, because I had a moment today. You said just like you want to be present, you want to be around, like you're really intentional about that. And bro, I kid you not, just this morning as we're getting ready for church, um, my 3-year-old daughter Nuri, she's in this phase to where like she has all these like princess dresses and she's got crowns and she's got purses and she's got little sunglasses with her like they're like flowers with her names on them. And she's all about like being pretty and being prissy and everything like that. And so she like I laid out an outfit for her, just something simple, t-shirt, some jeans, still cute or whatever. And she comes in the room as me and my wife are getting ready, and she has on the clothes that I laid out for her, but she has on a princess dress on top of it.
Yeah.
And she's like, I want to wear this to church today. And I was like, nah, because it just looks kind of funny. Like, but when we get home, I promise you can wear it. As soon as we get home, you can put it right back on. And she keeps on asking. I'm like, baby, you can't wear it to church today. Yeah. But when you get home, we can put it right back on you. And she walks away. She's sad. And in our bedroom, we have a really big mirror. It's like a 5-foot tall mirror. Mm-hmm. Why it's there, that's a conversation for another day. That's between me and my wife. Anyways, we have this mirror.
Podcast took a turn.
I'm sorry. My mind went there, and it is what it is. Anyway. I'm getting dressed in the closet, and I don't know how I heard it. I really don't, but I heard her. I heard her in the mirror, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I walk out, and this happened today. I walk out, and she's looking at herself in the mirror, holding her dress, and she looks sad. And and honest to God, she says, "I'm not pretty anymore."
Oh.
Right? And like
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pulling it back too.
Let me get myself together. When she said, my 3-year-old daughter, she's looking at herself in the mirror, holding her dress, and she says, "I'm not pretty anymore." And she said it more than once, and it shook me.
Oh yeah.
And so I immediately dropped to my knees, and I put her on my knee, and I told her, "Why are you saying that?" She said, "Because I can't wear my dress." And her confidence in herself was put in this material thing. You know what I'm saying? Because anytime that she wears it, we're always saying, "Oh, you're so pretty. You're like a princess," this, that, and the other. But because she didn't have it on, she felt like she wasn't pretty enough. And so I had to take that moment to tell her to look herself in the mirror and to build herself back up. And like, that to me was a moment. I'm grateful to God for giving me that moment and allowing me to hear that. Like, because I don't know if she was saying it before I got to her or not, but like, it sounds weird that I heard her in the mirror before she was saying anything, but like something told me to go out and look at her in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? And being present.
Yeah.
Right? Like being there. Again, it's one thing to be in the house, but it's another thing to be active. Yeah. It's another thing to be aware, to care.
To care.
And to build up your daughter. And me and Alicia, we had a whole conversation. We were like, is she, like, we're realizing that she's in a place to where she's, her self-esteem is being nurtured and cultivated right now. And it's so crucial for me as a father, especially to help build that up for her. But it's like, God forbid, if I wasn't there, is she going to tear her self-esteem down just because of a lack of a male figure being there? I'd be damned if I'm gonna let some other fool like control her confidence that way. You know what I'm saying? So like, again, going back to what you said, being present, being active, it matters. So talking about like being present matters, right?
Yeah.
One thing I did want to ask you, bro, is your daughter Joy, right, with cerebral palsy. That's I can only imagine the challenge that presents, right?
Yeah.
But can you talk a little bit about your experience having to raise a daughter that has cerebral palsy, but also be a father in her life, obviously love her unconditionally. And bro, I want to say, that you and Jocelyn are amazing parents. Like I just really want to give you your flowers, bro, because I know that that's probably not easy.
Yeah.
I know it's probably had its ups and downs.
Yeah.
There's a lady at our church who had a daughter with cerebral palsy, and seeing not just the effort, but the toll that it takes on the
Yeah.
family and on the parents. Like it's not easy. It's not easy being a parent, period.
Yeah.
Right? But being a parent in that aspect, like it takes a little bit more,
Sure.
right?
And if I might add
Yeah.
to that too, how did you feel when you found that
Ooh.
she's going?
Yeah. I have so many thoughts swirling.
Yeah. But I'm sorry, let me say this last thing. One thing I always picked up on was when you refer to Joy, you refer to her as your child that has unique needs.
Yeah.
Right? And other that's always been intentional for
Yeah.
you, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, I'd like for you to talk about because you're intentional with your wording. That's one thing that I know about you, right? Like if you don't mind, like talk a little bit about that as well, just
Sure.
kind of your experience.
So it's so interesting. I preached about this the other week. When we found out, Joy was about, I want to say 4 months when we got the diagnosis. I have a picture still in my phone, and I think it was like I changed the title of the picture. It was like "Smile Through the Pain" or something like that. Jocelyn and I were at the Fort Worth Zoo, and it was the day we got the diagnosis. After we got the diagnosis,
Okay.
we'd gone to eat at Papados, and we talked and cried and everything, and then we took Joy to the zoo and had a good day. We knew something was going on because she just wasn't reaching milestones. There were just certain things in terms of motion that she wasn't doing, and we were concerned, and so
And so this wasn't detected while she was still in the stomach.
She was good in here
Yeah.
before we gotten the official diagnosis. So
Yeah.
we were concerned. We talked to primary care physician. Eventually, referred us to a neurologist at Cook's. We went there, and we got. I think it was in June. We got the diagnosis that she was diagnosed with a form of cerebral palsy called spastic quadriplegia and dystonia, which just meant all 4 limbs are kind of constantly like spastic.
Okay.
So there's this kind of constant tightness and tenseness. Almost seems like she's really strong, but she's never able to really develop like muscle tone. And so it was devastating. I mean, how do you wrap your mind around it? Because we're in this hospital, and they're telling us things that we're going to have to think about like she may have cognitive delays. They're going to be, she probably won't walk. She probably won't do this, and all of the things that probably won't happen.
Yeah.
And in that moment, it feels like, I think whenever parent has children, you have a dream of some kind for your children. And it was like watching that dream die. And that was hard. And we were trying to make sense of it. Jocelyn at that time was, I think she was an assistant principal by then. I had worked with all these kids. When we moved here, I was working doing after-school programs for the Y, and I was working there then, doing after-school programs for the Y. And so there were all these kids in between Arlington, Grand Prairie, and Mansfield that we had been working with. And I remember having that feeling of like, really? Like our first child together, this happens? And just being frustrated with God, being angry. I used to do these what I called logic walks, and I would literally leave our apartment, but it was this kind of progression of thoughts that I would have. And I would walk and I would say to myself, okay, we've got to resolve this here and now. Either God exists or God does not.
Okay.
Do I believe that God exists?
Yeah.
Well, I do. if God exists, then he is either worthy of being trusted completely or not trusted at all. The stakes are too high.
Yeah. There's no room for
No,
gray.
no,
or
there's
nothing
not.
like
This
that.
isn't like, like the homie down the street who like, I can trust with my car, but I would never trust him in my house, or something. Like, it's not that. The stakes are too high. Like, this is life or death.
Yeah.
And so I can either trust everything or I won't trust anything. And for me at that time, whether this is true or not, it was the way that I thought. It was for me to trust everything. That means I've got to be able to trust the first word and the last word and everything in between. If that's true, and I really do believe that, then all things work together for the greater good of those that love God and called according to his purpose.
Yeah.
And I would do that multiple times a day for, I don't know, a year.
Yeah.
And I was having to, like, it was almost like this might be too far, but almost like my faith in God had a stroke and I was learning how to rewalk again.
That doesn't sound too far. That makes sense.
And so I was going through that process. And I've told my kids that all of them have taught me way more than I'm ever going to be able to teach them.
Ooh.
And Maya taught me, having a child of 17, that God can be kind and good in unfavorable circumstances. My youngest Jordan has taught me not to take myself too seriously. She just won't let me. She's a goofball, and I love it.
You said this is Joy?
Jordan,
okay.
But Joy, in the middle, has taught me the most about compassion and grace, to see the world that's easy to overlook. Partly because Joy can't walk, when we play on the ground.
Yes.
And it's hard to think of it or hard to imagine, but if you do right now, like if you were playing on the ground with a kid, the world looks a lot different from the ground than it does standing up.
Sure.
And so literally having to live life on her level has taught me to see the world that it's easy for me to overlook.
Yeah.
You start to be conscious of a number of different things. And so in a lot of ways, the truth of the matter is, while I do not wish our life on anyone else, the truth of the matter is I think I'm a better human because I have her. I think I'm a better person having lived life with her. And it is hard. I mean, Joy's 16, and I'll leave here, and at some point, Jocelyn and I will rock, paper, scissors over who's going to change the 16-year-old's diaper.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and when you have a 14-year-old who's in high school with her, who wants to go to dances, and her big sister can't really.
Jeez.
And if she does, like, we've got to be conscious of like Joy went to homecoming this year, but like Jocelyn had to go to homecoming because we had to think about things like seizures or if she gets wet, and all that's going to be. And I'm 42, and she's not getting lighter, and I'm not getting younger. And so you do have to think about, but like what the rest of our life will look like. But Joy taught me to love the life I have and not lament the life I lost.
Ooh.
She taught me that. And there was a moment.
Wait, bro, I'm sorry. Love the life you have and not lament the life that you lost.
Not get lost lamenting the life that you lost. I think you should grieve what's gone. Like our dream for Joy, it died. And we needed to grieve that. But I can't get lost lamenting the life that we lost.
Yeah.
Not when there's so much life to love.
Yeah.
And Joyce, she's true to her name, you know, and so it is.
That's what I don't mean to cut you
No, go
off,
ahead.
but that's one thing I was going to ask you is that with her name being Joy,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like some people may see that as like ironic or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
however you want to label it, but like finding, and again, I was surprised to hear that you all found out her diagnosis after she was born.
Yeah.
Right. I would have thought that you naming her Joy would have been like in spite of.
Jocelyn and I picked that name when we were dating.
Yeah.
We knew that if we got married and we had kids, there was two versions. Jocelyn's middle name is Lene.
Okay.
We were either going to name our first child, if it was a girl, if it was a boy, it was going to be Julian Hobby II.
Okay. Is there? Could that still happen?
No.
No.
If that happens, we'll be on this podcast with me lamenting the life that I lost.
I'm just
No,
asking.
I don't want that.
Okay. Understood.
No, unless we are adopting a 28-year-old
That's real.
who we rename. No.
Okay. Got it.
But we picked. We knew it was either going to be Joylyn Lene or Joy Lene. We picked that, man, a year before we got married.
I love that.
And so we always knew if we had our first child, if it was a daughter, that it was going to be Joy.
With her name being Joy, and with her current diagnosis, how do you all like? Is there any sort of significance to that being her name and everything that comes along with that?
The only person that would think her name would be ironic is a person that hasn't met her.
For sure, I totally agree with that.
And she's
the happiest person in the room everywhere she goes.
Oh man, like.
And can sing. First of all,
yeah, we was at the church.
Oh yeah,
I heard this
like,
voice.
Oh my
And
god!
I said,
you know,
wow.
It used to be a problem during choir rehearsals. I'm like, I'm working. I need you to stop singing so loud. She would sing louder than the whole choir.
Sheesh.
And she's 100% that. But no, I mean, there was a moment, and again, this is just like lessons with Joy that. And I actually think this came from a sermon that I had heard from Ralph West in Houston. I realized that I was praying constantly about like God healing Joy. Like it was the same prayer to completely take away all the effects of cerebral palsy. All of it, right? And I was praying that over and over. And then I realized, and again, this is just growth from learning and living life with her, that what I was praying was not a prayer of faith. It was a prayer that was rooted in fear. I was afraid of what her quality of life would be. I was afraid of what our quality of life would be. Like I imagined, being in our 60s and Jocelyn and I being able to like travel and do stuff or leave the kids alone and everything and do everything. Right now, we like, if leaving long periods of time without the kids is a struggle because we don't have somebody to watch Joy, to be able to change her and to take care of it in the event that someone has a seizure. And so, or she has a seizure. And so I was constantly praying a prayer that was rooted in fear. And eventually, coming to the realization of that, the prayer changed from solely heal her was heal me from the grief that I have for the life that we lost and help me to love the child that I have.
Yeah, man.
And not just protect her. Like I'm not protecting her from God, advocating for God to do something on her behalf. What I needed to learn was how to love our circumstances. And there are many days when I don't like that we have what we have because I don't want this for her. But I love my life. I love my kids. Right? And I love what I have learned living life with them. And so again, while I don't wish it for anyone, there is a certain kind of grace that comes from parenting a child with unique needs. And I am I know I am a better human.
Yeah.
You know,
A pastor, everything else. All that does, I mean, it matters, but it doesn't matter. I'm a better human
you know, in
because I got her.
some circles, going back to, you know, how I came up in certain religious
Oh, yeah.
circles, those type of things weren't supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Talk about it, Dad.
Because, you know, if you know, you quote faith scriptures and you quote positive things, and we say put in an atmosphere or whatever, all that go. But then when something like this happens,
Yeah.
you know, and a lot of people don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you said, it takes grace. So there's a
Oh,
grace.
man. It
there
is.
that God
There
gives you.
is. And like we've talked about this before, that like I mean, even prior to Joy, but I think as a result of that as well, like I'm very, being a preacher and being a preacher who has like studied the craft of preaching, probably in some ways has ruined preaching for me. Like I can't sit and listen to a lot, and not that I'm even like judgmental or critical,
I understand.
but I recognize
Yeah.
that there are certain things that get promoted in some of our traditions that I think what they do is they leave people with bad options. To the point that you're making, like it leaves people with a few options that when this thing happens, either God doesn't exist, God doesn't hear me, or God is mad at me. And I don't think any of those are the case.
Correct.
I've said this. I think I've said this when I've been on the other podcast for the church with you all, that we live in a world with cupcakes and cancer.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is that in a fallen world, in a broken world, the possibility of sickness and harm are always present, right?
And we're not exempt.
We're not exempt. And all of us are impacted. Joy's disability is visible. Mine, no one could see. And fortunately, I lived a life where God did not expose all of my limps, all of my failings, all of my lack of ability to do and to accomplish, to perform. That I'm fortunate that God did not let the world see all my disabilities. But the truth of the matter is we all got something.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Right. And again, what Joy has helped me to learn is that the truth of the matter is it's not that this thing has happened and that this reality is present to us, but the hope that we have is that one day all of this will be repaired.
Correct.
You know, I was today preaching. We were doing an Advent series on the characters of Christmas. We were preaching on the Magi and on the wise men. And there's a refrain, particularly with the shepherds, that has stuck with me this entire Advent season. One day in the, one day in the city of David, in the town of David, a Savior was born. And if that's true, that everything changed. And it marked the beginning of families being restored, sicknesses being healed, my baby's legs moving. And so, because one day in the city of David, a Savior was born, peace on earth and goodwill on all those on whom his favor rests. And if that's true, this is just the meantime, in between time until we get to King time. And I'm looking forward to one day running the streets of gold with my daughter.
Yeah.